Abdul Batan, a famous analyst of the Arab world, in an article in Rayalium about the various narratives that are raised about Yya Alanar, the leader of Hamas in Gaza, said, "There is not a day that a comment or an article is published in the media of the Zionist regime in the United States about Yya al-Sanwar, the struggle of brave. Do not. This news has been repeated for 5 months. One day they say that he hid in a tunnel in Khan Yunis, and another time they say that they found a video file that shows that he was hiding in an unknown tunnel with his family, and since the picture is from the back they recognized him by his ears, and after for some time, it became clear that all these narratives are fake and aimed at restoring the lost credibility of the Zionist regime's information, whose image was destroyed during the Al-Aqsa storm operation, the same intelligence apparatus whose power was exaggerated." This analyst further wrote, "One of these narratives that was published in the Washington Post newspaper is quoted by the American intelligence agencies and the Zionist regime, and in it is claimed that al-Sanwar is hiding in a tunnel in Khan Yunis, his hometown, and that Israeli prisoners there are human shields around it, and for this reason, no action is taken against him, so as not to harm the captives." This analyst stated, "In this information report that was published intentionally, there are several points that include new facts. First, a team of American intelligence experts is involved in finding al-Sanwar, Abu Brahim, along with their Israeli counterparts. Second, the use of highly advanced listening and surveillance systems by the United States to help locate al-Sanwar and his areas of movement, which in practice proves that the statements denying the military and intelligence involvement of the United States in the Gaza war are all lies." By giving a like and subscribing the channel, you are helping an independent analytical media to continue its journey. Third, it shows the superiority of the intelligence institutions of the Palestinian resistance, especially Hamas, both in terms of protecting Israeli prisoners in a safe place and misleading the American and Israeli intelligence services and not finding them. The fact that they have not been able to reach these prisoners in several months, despite having advanced systems, is a confirmation of this fact. Fourth, it is said in the report that al-Sanwar placed the captives as human shields so that they would not assassinate him or arrest him, lest any harm should come to these captives, a contrived attempt to justify the failure and to mislead the Israelis, whose release of these captives is a vital priority, and who are extremely angry at the inability of their intelligence services to achieve this goal. Atwan further wrote, "The reason why America and the Zionist regime are desperately seeking to reach al-Sanwar and kill or detain him is related to his high fighting, political and management ability and his strength. The Israelis, including the cabinet, army, and security services, have never seen a Palestinian or even an Arab leader who has these characteristics. If they think that with the assassination of this man, Hamas will collapse along with other resistance groups, they are very wrong. America and the Zionist regime are used to weak and stubborn Arab leaders who submit to their dictates out of fear of their reaction and overthrow from their thrones, and therefore seek to destroy the phenomenon of Sanwari leadership so that it does not become established in the first place, and in the second place, it should not be extended to Arab countries, and in the third place, it should not become an Arab or Palestinian model in the current period and in the future." This analyst has stated, "The intelligence and military services of the Zionist regime do not care about the lives of the prisoners and will not hesitate for a moment to use whatever destructive weapons they have in their pockets to destroy al-Sanwar and the generals around it, especially since dozens of Israeli prisoners are in the hands of this army. They were killed by the regime, not by the resistance forces." Repeating the narrations that speak of al-Sanwar's presence in one of the underground tunnels in Gaza or Khan Yunis or Rafah is proof of their failure to find him. Atwan wrote, "We do not support the point of view that downplays the arrest or assassination of al-Sanwar, and that Hamas will not be affected by this incident for 2 reasons. Firstly, Hamas under his command and his military generals are completely different from before, and this type of creative leaders in design and implementation with iron nerves, their loss will have a very negative result, because these types of leaders are not easily repeated. Second, most of the Arab leaders in power these days are far worse than their former counterparts. We are not talking about historical leaders like Gamal Abdul Nasser here, but the non-historical leaders who have inherited the throne are unfortunately weak and incompetent, and they have taken the path of normalization with the occupation regime. This analyst concluded, the brave fighter al-Sanwar will remain as a nightmare and a thorn in the eyes of his enemies until God gives him martyrdom, because he won the war and caused an earthquake in the usurping regime and the shock of this regime and its army insecurity. And it has blown its stability. Al-Sanwar has emerged as a genius they never expected. Al-Sanwar's Arab counterparts are looking to collect money and pleasure and please America and blindly follow Washington.